So it was the summer of 2014, and I'd just been dumped, like super dumped. Like, he dumped me on the phone, but he wouldn't say the words out loud, so I had to guess that he was gonna dump me and then dump myself for him. And he was like, "I'm sorry, I've never done this before." And I was like, "I feel so bad for you." So he super dumped me. He even said something like, "You knew I wasn't looking for anything on our first date, like committed, like sorry, not sorry." And I was just like, "Did you just say sorry, not sorry to me?" Hang up. So it's a few days later, and I'm kind of in that weird phase where I can't remember any of that shit. And I'm like, maybe I should call him. We've all been there. And my friend's like, "No, he sucks. None of us liked him. Go on the internet and find somebody else." Even my therapist, when we broke up, my therapist was like, "Yeah, he wasn't very good." And I was like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And he was like, "Well, I'm not supposed to tell you the answers, Katie. You're supposed to find them." So my one friend's like, "Go on the internet, find somebody else." So I'm on OkCupid. And I don't know about OkCupid currently, but in 2014, they had this section called Quick Match, which is kind of like Tinder, where it was like swipe for yes, swipe for no, that kind of thing. So I was like, okay, this is like judging people. I can get into that. So it was like 11 p.m. on a Sunday, and like I'm looking at these cute people like, yes, 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 no, 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 whatever, ugh, what are you wearing? And then I see this like really cute blonde guy with glasses and like really nice smile, and like I swipe like, sure, he's cute, so I swipe yes. And this little bubble pops up and it's like, he swiped yes on you too, send him a message. And I was like, oh, I'm not really looking for anything. Like I didn't like go into this like have to do something. So I'm like, let me look at his profile and like see how bad it is. Oh my gosh, he's so cute on his profile. He's like, you know, his cute blonde self with his glasses. There's this part where he's like, "I'm squishy in all the right places," which, me too. And then the top of it, it says, "I love stand-up comedy, and if I ever met Tom Waits in person, I'd pee myself," which is exactly what I would say. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write him a message. So I spend a really long time trying to write this like obscure message that's like, "Oh, my favorite Tom Waits song is this, you probably never heard of it." And like, I keep erasing it and rewriting it. And while I'm doing that, like this little like bubble pops up, like, "You have a new message." So I check it, and it's from him. And all it says is, "You're the coolest person I've ever seen on the internet." Right? So we start talking. We talk about everything. And I do the tests that I usually do on people during first date. I bring up gay rights. I bring up all kinds of politics. I bring up like really obscure niche books that I like to read. He knows them all. He's just like cracking the answers, like getting them all right. So I'm trying to play it cool, like, "Oh yeah, like, do you want to like hang out like next weekend?" And he's like, "No, we have to have lunch tomorrow." And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, "You have to meet me at a restaurant on my side of the river, because I'm not gonna, you come meet me." So we go to have lunch the next day, and I have a meeting that day, because I was in graduate school at the time. I have a meeting with my new mentor, and which was good because I was excited to meet my new mentor, but also in case this person is creepy, I have something to leave for. So I was like, okay, we're gonna have lunch, but I have a thing to leave for. Well, he's not creepy at all. He's amazing. The first thing we do when we see each other is hug. Like, it's like we felt like we knew each other. So we hug, we have lunch, but we don't really have lunch. We're just talking the whole time that we don't even eat our food. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go to my meeting now. I don't wanna leave this, but I have to leave. So we pack up our food in boxes. We're getting ready to leave. He like nervously kisses me on my forehead, like, "Hey, would it be cool if I came to your apartment later and I brought some of my comedy albums and like maybe we eat the food that we didn't eat now?" And I'm like, sure. So I go to my meeting. It's great. And then I like grab a frozen pizza in case that food's weird and gross. And it's great. It's from this place called Thai Peacock. You guys know it. It's good. we go to eat our food and we're listening to Richard Pryor albums and we're talking about everything. We're laying in my loft bed. And then he asks me what I do. Well, I'm a performance artist. And so I show him my website. We go through every single piece of performance that I've ever done up to that point. Even like the bad stuff that's badly filmed, that I do badly at. And he gives me comments about everything. This is great, this is important, you're doing good, I really like this. I think that you could add this to this to make it even better. Like we're having conversations about my art. Essentially, our first date lasts 2 weeks. Because he's just at my apartment every night and we're having like a naked pizza party. And the only reason that the first date ended was because he had to go to work because he kept calling in sick and he was gonna get fired. So he goes back to work and I kind of go back to my life for a hot minute. Well, then he's just in my life and like he's different than anybody else I've ever dated. Like I've had all these like weird off and on boyfriends, kind of men that are like, oh, you're too sentimental. I can't commit to you. I'm not the one. You're too squishy. You're too lovey. Which like what a problem to have. This person is not like that at all. Like, in fact, I usually make the joke that he's the last cis man I'll ever date because he's raised the bar so high for the rest of y'all. And so after the 2 weeks, he goes back to work. I kind of go back to school. We end up like just being together, and he moves in 6 months later. And last Monday, we celebrated our 5-year anniversary, and in August, we're gonna go elope at the beach. So, thank you.